Hey, we are back with another edition of the FloTrack podcast. This time to recap the New York Grand Prix meet, which just wrapped. Hopefully, most of you got to watch it. If you're listening later, hopefully you caught up, so that way you know what exactly it is we are talking about. We're on day 5 of our 6-day streak of consecutive podcasts, basically trying to get in shape for when we attempt to do this at USA's or at World Championships. It's our last little go round too, Gordon, before the hay is in the barn and we rest up for the championship part of the season.
That's right. We still have a podcast tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Be there.
Mhm,
Talk about stuff we forgot to talk about over the past 4 days. But I want to
mhm.
start the podcast with this question.
Mm,
Typically, going into a podcast, we can kind of think about what the lead topic is going to be. You kind of know that like Abby Steiner, that women's 200 was going to lead the NCAA women's recap. On the men's
yeah.
side, we knew it was going to be one of the sprinters, Fambula notably, right? Who had Devon Allen running 12:84
Yeah.
in the first race of the meet being the lead story before the race started? Like, did anyone think Devon Allen was about to put on something incredible like that to like
No,
lead all shows?
no, that's a great point. I thought we had our fill of high hurdle news this weekend. I mean, I thought Holly would win. I thought it would be a quick time, and that would be that. I mean, Allen's been running really well, but 1284, number 3 in history, beats Holloway by a considerable margin. Sometimes you see the fast time, and then sometimes you see the big victory, and they happen in different places at different times. Allen combined two into one here. He got the amazing time, and he did it while beating the best guy in the world by a sizable margin. I mean, 1284. His best before this was 1299, and I knew he had a good shot at running quickly this year. He had mentioned, I'm going to go to the NFL. But first, right, what do you want to do? He had 2 goals this year: world record and world champion. And we all thought, oh, that would be crazy because that means you got to beat Grant Holloway and you have to run faster than anybody else in history. Maybe he was onto something, Gordon. Maybe he knew something we didn't. Maybe that
Yeah,
Eagles contract spurred him on here because, again, no guarantees. I mean, what Grant ran, 1281 at semis, USA's, and
yeah,
then never ran faster. So you never know when the fast time is going to come. But it's not a ridiculous conversation because he got the win and he got the fast time.
yeah. It's beyond ridiculous. It's a completely normal thought. I mean, even though Grant Holloway, I would say, is the best hurdler in the world, Grant Holloway has shown that he can lose. He lost at the Olympic final, right? He
Mhm,
That's really his only loss, and he just lost today. So he
mhm,
doesn't lose that often, but there's nothing perfect about Grant. He does have flaws. He's great. He's one of the all-time greats, but he has flaws. And if you are going to be in 1280 shape, 1280, 1290 fitness, that is
mhm,
enough to beat Grant Holloway. And now we're seeing Devon Allen not just be a fringe 13 flat low guy, but now being, hey, I can break 13, but I can just smash it. I can run 1284. I mean, I don't even think he
yeah.
thought. I mean, he said he wanted to break the world record, so I guess he did think
He,
this.
he did think that. He literally
So he
said he
did
wanted
think
it.
it, which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy to think that when your PR is 1299 and you say I'm going to run 1279 a
right.
year later, that's kind of crazy. But he said 1284. That's very close. And the way he's running, he's been being consistent. He's been looking good. He's been healthy. He has ultimate motivation because he kind of has that like, I want to end, this
Exactly. Yeah.
season
Yep.
in Eugene on my home track, my home college track, and then two
Yep.
days later, fly to Philly for OTAs to represent the Eagles. I'm wearing a Fly Eagles Fly hat in
Hmm.
solidarity of my boy Devon Allen as a big Eagles fan. I hope he makes the team now because, obviously he's going to make the U.S. team, but I hope he makes the Eagles 53-man roster because, man, 1284, that's quick.
When's the last time Holloway lost by that much? I mean, maybe in that 2019 season, but when he lost to Parchment in the Olympics, it was right at the line. He got a good start. It's just Allen flew by him on the second half of the race. I looked it up, 7-2 all time, Holloway over Allen, and he's won the last 7, going back to the beginning of 18. Allen won in 17, Allen won in 18, and then 19 on. It's been all Holloway, which is what you'd expect based on how well Grant Holloway has run during that time. But yeah, this one stunned me, both in
And
terms of time and the margin of victory.
when we talk about that margin of victory, you could argue that maybe Holloway is a little rusty. We've talked about this. He hasn't been running a lot. He
Sure,
pulled out
sure.
the Bermuda meet. He just isn't on the same flow that he was on during indoors. But even if Holloway had a good race and runs 12.95, which is probably what you
Yeah,
would expect from a
yeah,
Grant Holloway, he's still going
mhm,
to get beat. Like this was
yeah,
not a Holloway bad race, therefore Allen won. Even if Holloway had a great race, Allen is winning
right.
this race.
No, you're 100% right, which is why I thought it was notable that he checked both of those boxes. Because if Holloway isn't in the race and he still runs 84, people have been like, wow, what would happen if Holloway was in that race? Must have been fast conditions. Could he have broken the world record in that race? And if it was run in, 13-2, 13-3, what would we say? Oh, Grant's got the bye. He'll be ready when it's time. He's not sharp yet. But you can't say either of those things because Allen just went out and dominated this race and ran faster than he ever had. I think you talked about before of just it being his last season, and I talked about that before. Just the pressure being off. It's like let me just go for it. I'm starting this new career in a little bit. My last season of track, I might as well have some fun and just go for it. I'm going to put these big goals out there. If I don't get them, who cares? I'm about to be in the NFL. Like those problems are way bigger than whatever problems I'll have in track. And I think part of that might be what's going on here. I mean, he looked good early in the season, a lot of 13 lows, very consistent. Indoors looked pretty good. Wasn't great indoors, but was really solid. And now, man, I mean, how bummed are you? Well, as an Eagles fan, you're going to be stoked, but like, how bummed are you going to be if he actually does this and then he walks away from track? Like he runs 1281 or something, or 12 or gets it, runs 1279. It's like, yep, see you guys.
I mean, I don't think he would walk away because I think he would try to make the team. I mean, no one is hurdling in November on Thanksgiving weekend in the NFL, right? No one is
Yeah,
hurdling
yeah.
really much, even in the playoffs. Like the football season is basically the polar opposite of the track season. So
Mhm.
if he goes out there and breaks a world record and wins a world title and then goes plays football, I think he basically would only come back to track if it's worth it. Like if football is not going
Right, right.
perfectly, or if it's perfect, like marketing opportunities, because then he's an NFL player in the Diamond League
Mhm.
circuit, more sponsorship. Like I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to just do whatever is best for the situation that presents itself as we see how July unfolds and ultimately his first year as potentially being a football player unfolds.
Well, since he's on the Eagles, that probably means what? January, he won't be doing anything. Even late December. When's the last game
Oh, they're
of
going
the
to be playing
season?
into February because we're in
You
the
guys
Super
won't be.
Bowl.
You guys won't be
So
playing much.
he's going to
It's
be
just
he's going to be busy all the way to like mid February. He's going to be in the Pro Bowl. It's going to be a long season.
he'll have plenty of time to focus back on track. You having a good full indoor season is what I'm thinking. Yeah, I just I just interpret it as like if he makes the roster, it's like the focus is going to be on football, and he'll feel like I've achieved everything I can. I've done this track thing. I'm going to stay locked in. All right,
You'll be ready to go February 13th, 2023,
23
because February 12th, 2023 is the date of the Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
So February
Gotcha.
13th, mark your calendars. The debut of
Yeah.
Devon Allen's 2023 track season. It'll be a
All right,
Monday.
let's talk. Let's switch. Let's switch over to Lyles. 1961, last race of the meet. That's his third fastest time ever. Gordon, this men's 200 is getting very serious now. We saw the 1949 from Knighton. This was the response. I mean, the field around Lyles wasn't like the field, isn't like the field he's going to see at USA's, but this was vintage Lyles.
Yeah. Vintage Lyles. He's showing consistency, which is good. And when you're running 19.6, you think like as great as 1949 is, you can
Mhm.
imagine a runner who is running 19.6 sixes low can beat a 1949 guy on any given day
Yeah.
because
Right. Right. Right.
once you're in that range, the magnitude of the event, anything can happen. You're within the plus minus air of being able to like Knighton isn't a different tier right now. He's in the same tier as Lyles. They're still together in the
Mhm.
same tier. But this is what I was thinking about this event. 200, very interesting event. Not as interesting as the men's 100 because I think there's more guys in the men's 100, but the men's 200 is a lot more limited on who can actually win gold. But if you're Noah Lyles, you just run
Mhm.
1961.
Yeah.
USA's is in 2 weeks. What is Noah Lyles' USA plan, knowing that he has the bye in the 200? Does he even run the rounds of the 200? Does he just do the 100? What, now that you see his regular season, he ended with the
Yeah.
1961 in New York. What is his race plan at USA's?
All right. So there's a couple diamond leagues between now and then. So if your plan is to do that, I haven't seen his whole schedule. I don't think he's going to go over there, but I'm not sure. I could see that, do a diamond league, then come back, just run around, run the 100 just to cuz you have to show up and that's it. Yeah, I think he'll run the 100. I don't know if he'll go to all the way to the final. Now, psychologically, what would be interesting would be for him to run the 200 and win it running fast and saying, I didn't even need to be here and I still beat all you guys. That would be an interesting play. But knowing what we know about track and field, knowing the cautious nature of the sport, the risk of injuries, et cetera, I'd be surprised if we saw him in a final in either one of those two events.
I can see him doing the final in the 100 because you want to be on the 4x1, right?
Mm,
No? You don't think that's going to be important to
I
him?
think you want to be I think you want to be healthy more, and also that's just going to be a tough 100 final to make. I mean,
True.
he ran near Coleman and in Pre, so he's obviously he's no slouch. He can make that final, but you know, what's his mentality, right? Is his mentality I'm gonna try to make the 100 team too? I guess that's the question. Or
I'm
is
going
it
to,
I'm running the 100 just because I need to do something at this meet, right?
yeah,
Because I
because
think
you have to
that
do something. You have to do at least one round
right, and I
to
think
be
that
selected.
matters if you're just out there running. If you're out there running to run against athletes who are this is their whole season is on the line. It's tough to match that intensity.
Hear me out. I think him going all in on the 200 at USA's is the best plan because I think both scenarios result in a competitive advantage. If he goes out, runs a 200, wins,
Mhm.
that scenario is great because it's like, yo, Knighton, it's not your time, that boy. Like, I got you. I have your number. You're screwed. This is my year. Confidence booming, self confidence. He's going to go in and be like, I'm ready to run 19.4 in the world final. He goes into USA's and loses to Knighton. Then he can be like, let the kid have his little victory. Let him think he's a new guy on top. Let him think this is the race that matters. Little does he know, I'm peaking for
Mhm.
worlds. I'm going to have the last laugh and have the victory. Kind of look at the NCAAs. Favor of Philly destroys Abby Steiner SECs. A month
Mhm.
later, Abby Steiner's having the last
Uh-oh.
laugh and destroying
I knew we were
Favor
going
of
to get
Philly.
back to that. You could have just
I
gone
mean,
straight to that if that's what you wanted to bring up. You didn't need to do the whole prologue here. Thomas in the
no, but
chat says, didn't you hear what he said to Lewis Johnson? He said he was just going to run the 200. I actually didn't hear that because that was the last event and I turned it off to prep for the pod. So I did miss
yes.
that
Yep.
interview. So there you go. 200, no 100. So he did the math, did the
You
calculus.
can
Yeah,
change
he
his
has
mind.
to run something. He has to run something. That's why. That's the rule. I mean, he could run the 400 or whatever, right? Like there's no,
You can do a shot put,
do you,
right?
well, do you have to qualify though?
You have to
Or
qualify.
do
That's
you,
true. You got to
so
qualify.
I guess he could, he
Put him in the
could do
race
the
walk.
quarter.
That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
but he could literally false start on the first race and then meet his obligation if he doesn't want to run.
They
That's
should
all I can see.
have all the runners who have buys to worlds, whether they're the Diamond League champion or the defending world champion. They should get all those
Hmm.
runners together, and then they should have them play like a competition, like some playground competition to see like some like it's like the a meet of champions. It's a meet of all the people with buys. So you have like
Mhm.
Coleman, you have Lyles, you have uh, Kendall Williams from the heptathlon, you have Sandy Morris, you have all the greats, and they're just doing something.
Mhm.
I don't know, like
Or
playing like
or
5-on-5 basketball or bags
no, don't do
or
that. You get
horseshoes
hurt.
or
I think
something. Darts.
what if they just have them work the merch tent? You don't have to run, but you gotta work the merch tent
You got to put in
because
your
we're
hours.
short-staffed. Yeah.
You give us
It's like
3 hours of your
it's up to
time.
you. It's up to you. You can choose either way. Um, how good are you at selling t-shirts? Let's go to the women's side of things. Women's one and the women's two. Aaliyah Hobbs takes the women's 100, 10:83. It's a PB that was 5 years old for her. So big race, fast conditions there today. A lot of fast times. Richardson, 10.85. Tiana Daniels, getting in that Tiana Daniels zone, 10.99 as we get closer to USA's. Yeah, Hobbs has run some fast times this year. So I'm not surprised. Remember that Richardson debut race when the weather was terrible, right? Hobbs
Yeah.
won that one in Florida. I mean, the first one. They did like a first round, and then everybody came back for the second one. But remember, Hobbs won that one. So she's a proven, 10-8 runner. So I thought it was a good run for her. Richardson gets runner up again, but then comes back and wins the 200, which I thought with that competition, I thought that was a solid win for her. Like we've seen how fast Tamara Clark um, has been this year. I mean, the time wasn't anything unreal, 22:38, but again, another productive weekend, I would say, for Richardson. And she talked to the media afterwards. Seemed like she was in good spirits.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about the competition, beating Tamara Clark is a good win. She's also had like strong, like think of like NCAA basketball terminology, like a good loss or whatever. She only has good losses. She hasn't really lost to anyone that at that level you're not supposed to lose to. The way she, finished ninth at Prefontaine last year, like that's
Hmm.
not what she
Yeah,
should be doing, getting last in a race like that. But she's lost to
yeah,
Elaine Thompson Hurrah and Aaliyah
yeah.
Hobbs. Right? That's it, right?
Hmm.
Maybe Terry. Has she lost to Tanisha Terry maybe
I
this
yeah,
year?
I think in that yeah, I think in that first meet she got like fourth.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah,
she was
she lost
she
to
was
Tanisha
behind.
Terry.
Yeah, but the consistency is there, which is such a key facet of a professional track athlete's career and their success or failure. You contrast it with, pre-pandemic, right? And you get 1075 at NCAA's and then not making the team at USA's. And I think in the 200, I don't think she made the final by the time we got to that race. So yeah, is it the 10 sevens? Is it the crazy times, the all-time marks? No, but she keeps doing what she needs to do to get on the team, which I've said since the get-go. Like to me, that was the measure of success was just get on the team, make that step to get on the team, make the final, and then I think all the pressure then shifts over to Fraser Price and Thompson Hurrah.
What did you think of her outfit?
Oh, I'm not the fashion person. I mean, fishnets, right? I like how she's mixing it up every single meet. I mean, anybody who's done any deep dives, the history of like FloJo, like kind of reminds me of that. Like the new outfit every single week, just sort of like pushing the bounds. I thought, like when I first saw it, I was like, is that going to make it difficult for her to pump her arms when she's running? But then once she
Yeah.
started going, it didn't. There's definitely, I mean, you
Cole,
could
put up
definitely
the
be
outfit.
more.
I put a photo of the outfit in the run of show. So you can see it better.
There's definitely a more aerodynamic thing to wear. I just remember. I think it's funny because remember, was it last Olympics or 16 when Nike came up with like the crazy speed suits with the little like the teeth on them that were like arrow blades or whatever they called them. Like this is going to make them even faster, right? And then now you have people racing like this. So I just think it's interesting. I mean, I'd be interested to see if she does it at USA's.
Won't they have like uniform rules? They might try to like
Oh, okay.
mute
Huh.
her pizzazz in a way, which would be stupid. Like
Listen,
whatever. If you want to run with it,
yeah,
run with it.
yeah.
You're
No, I, yes, I
it's not
agree.
affecting
I think
anyone
it's
else.
cool.
Yeah. But
We
I did
can't like people always complain everybody's in the same outfit. Well, then you can't complain when someone like has a unique outfit. I think it's
yeah.
great.
I did think though, it looked like it wasn't comfortable. Like it looked like either like helped her arm go back and forth like this because it wasn't like attached like a full arm sleeve. It was like hanging.
Hmm.
So I was wondering
Hmm.
if that was like either like keeping her body locked in into a good back and forth this way or if it was a hindrance.
Hmm.
Like do you think
I did
that
notice.
affected her time at all in a good or negative way?
Listen, I know less about how fashion impacts sprinting than probably the average person. If it made her feel comfortable and good, I think it helped. I did notice. Did you see in the replay how there was a point in the race when she went from like one side of the lane to the other? Like she definitely drifted at some point. Like her rhythm got broke or something like that. I don't know if it would have been. I don't know if it was the defining part of the race because Aaliyah Hobbs at the end there had like a little bit of an issue as well too. But I thought there was a little bit of time lost there. But this women's 100 team's gonna be hard to pick. I mean, do you feel better about Richardson? Like, who do you feel the best about in the U.S. making the team? Is it Richardson?
Yeah. Richardson's my number one, Aaliyah Hobbs number two, and then three. I probably Tiana Daniels. Let's be honest. Put Tiana Daniels on the team. Um, yeah, I mean
So you're going with this
Richardson
three?
again. She's been consistent, and yeah, you have a loss here, but it's a good loss. She still ran fast. It's just
Yeah.
one race without rounds. You can't really take much from it. So um, I think it shows that Aaliyah Hobbs is making the team, but it doesn't show that Sha'Carri Richardson is not. If that makes any sense.
It doesn't show that Aaliyah Hobbs is making the team, but it doesn't show that Shakira Richardson is not.
No, it shows that Aaliyah Hobbs is making the team,
Oh, is making the team. Okay.
but it doesn't show that Sha'Carri is not. It's like a triple negative. It works out in my head.
Yeah.
It works out
Yeah.
somewhere up here. They're both making the team, is what I'm trying to say. As for the order, gun to my head, I'll pick Sha'Carri, but hey,
Yeah.
also Aaliyah clearly can win because we literally just saw her win by .02. So
Yeah.
0.03,
Yeah.
whatever it
I
was.
mean, Terry's been running well though too. In there. I think it's very going to be very competitive, but that's where the consistency part comes in. And for Richardson, does she have the highest ceiling of anybody in this group? Probably because we've seen how fast she can go. But her floor this year has also been raised up a bit. Like she's settling nicely into this little groove. And again, with each race, just getting out there and doing it again, I think it makes the expectations more realistic. I mean, it got crazy by trials. Like people were just talking about the world record in the Olympic trials last year. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
Things changed so quickly. Things went from, oh man, maybe she can be in contention for like a gold to like, is she the greatest sprinter of all time? Like it just took off instantly, and then obviously it changed so dramatically, not just with what happened to her, but the rise of Thompson Herot and Fraser Price. So I think the
Well, you know the reason
expectations
that
getting
happened, right?
because she got suspended.
No. Why everyone thought she was going to break the world record? It's because
She ran ten
she was a
six.
vessel for bringing in a large sum of non-track educated fans, which is a great thing. But people who don't really understand how fast FloJo actually was,
Yeah, but track
and I
people were saying that too, weren't they?
no,
I
track
have
people
a
weren't saying
memory
it.
of.
It was fringe. I love Sha'Carri. She's the best right now. She keeps dominating all the races. She gets faster
Mhm.
and faster and faster. A linear line just goes this way, so she's going to break the world record. I think that
Mhm.
was the real
Okay.
loud thought of world record. It was from new fans being like, "Oh my goodness, I've never seen someone this fast. It's so awesome.
Mhm.
World record." The same way we always think Michael Phelps is going to break a world record every time. I know nothing about what it takes to break a world record in swimming, but I'll just assume, oh, you're the best guy. You're probably going to break a world record.
Yeah.
That's what we do in sports we don't pay attention to.
All right, let's jump over to the men's 100. Coleman, 992. Akeem Blake of Jamaica, 9.95. I thought that there was two stories in this race because Blake ran so well. But we'll start first with Coleman. Got the win. It was quite close. He seemed happy about it after. Where do you put him now? In the now he's another guy who has to buy. Are you worried? Concerned for golden Coleman's like gold medal hopes?
Yeah, I'm worried for his gold medal hopes. I'm not worried for his medal hopes, but I am worried for his gold medal hopes. Um,
Mm.
he's just not looking as dominant as I think he can be. He almost lost, which could also just be not really a negative about Coleman, but a positive about Akeem Blake. Akeem
Yeah,
break. Akeem Blake with a
Blake.
breakthrough performance here, 995. He almost had him. I thought there was a moment when Blake
Yeah.
was going to get him, which would have been wild. One for our chat because we love our Jamaican fans out there. They would have loved to have a win over Christian Coleman. We would not hear the end of it. So I was kind of hoping actually Blake would have won because then it would have been fun to kind of have
Mhm.
that back and forth. But Coleman is Coleman. He's the world defending champion for a reason. It makes sense that he won this race.
So Blake actually ran 992 in Tennessee last week, but it was under protest. So the 995 counts as a PB. He's only 20. His PB coming into the season was 10.35. 10.35. And now he's been under 10 twice. Yeah, you look at his outdoor results, scroll down and there, Colt. Yeah, that DQ, it's still listed on some stat services um, as a 9.92. So if you just count, and he ran that time, he just false started before and then ran under protest. So he's running 992. He's run 995. He's run what 2:10:08s and 1:10:10. And like I said, going into the year, he hadn't broken 10:35, and now he's going toe to toe with Christian Coleman. So
Here's a
you're right.
question for you.
It could be a combination of two things. It could be this could be another guy. This could be a legit guy, legit contender for Jamaica, or it could be and it could also be Coleman not quite yet at the level that we saw him at in 19.
If someone were to run the world record under protest, would you call it a world record? If Akeem
What do you
Blake,
mean?
if Akeem Blake in Nashville had the false start,
Oh,
wanted to run under
oh,
protest, instead of running 992, he runs like
no, 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 no.
95. Would you call that the world record? What would
No,
we
I
do?
wouldn't.
Because he did run it.
We,
It's not
we,
like
yeah, he ran it, but it didn't. The problem is, why are we running under protests in the year 2022? No one has ever been able to identify to me clearly what that means. I have no clue. I still don't know. Did they false start or didn't they? If they didn't, then you're all good. If you did and you're following the rules, you shouldn't be able to run. And why can you run under protest in some races and not others? Because if you're allowed to do it in every meet, why don't you do it in every single meet? Why isn't there a protest every single time there's any sort of false start? I never understand
I
that.
don't know.
But that's it. We've been down this road before. So it wouldn't count. I would hope then they would run it at a time where they are not false starting. But yeah, I mean, I want to see the Jamaican trials are going to be interesting to me. Akeem Blake, Oblique Seville, Johan Blake.
Johan,
Pretty,
Johan
it's gonna be
doesn't
pretty
have it in
exciting.
him. He's winning low tier races. We're getting second in low
He's.
tier races.
Have you seen the Jamaican descending order list?
Yeah, but Johan Blake is not a world championship factor guy anymore. Like
To
Blake,
make the team. I'm talking about
okay,
making the
to make the
team.
team, yes. To make the team,
That's
yes.
exactly
But
what I said. I said the Jamaican trials are going to be interesting. I did not say anything about the world champion. I'm looking up the Jamaican list here. This is me scrolling, and we have Seville 86, Blake 85, Johan Blake 05, then Rashid Dwyer 1014. The fourth fastest guy this year is run 1014.
let's do a
Blake's the
quick
favorite. Shout out Colt, by the way, for getting that up there that quickly. Good job.
let's
Nobody
do
navigates the World Athletics page quite like Colt.
all right, we're doing a quick draft right now. We're gonna draft
Hmm.
our best Jamaican male sprinters who you think will finish highest at the world championship level, not at trials. No, let's say at trials. Say at trials.
Uh,
Who gets first pick?
Go ahead. I don't
I will
understand.
first pick. I will go with Akeem Blake. That's what I'm trying to get at. I would pick Akeem Blake as the trials favorite
Guess what the
over
fastest
Seville.
Jamaican men's 200 is this year?
It's not fast.
This can't be real. Hold on. Maybe there's a windy
Holy.
time that is not.
Wait a minute. No. The
It's
fastest
real.
Jamaican time with
The
5
200 this
weeks
year.
left before Worlds is 2043.
You kind of ruined the game.
Yeah.
You're supposed to guess, but yeah, that's the correct answer.
Sorry.
What's going on, man? All right. Anyway, so you're taking Blake
Well,
over Seville.
yeah,
Are we
I'll
just
take
choosing?
Akeem Blake.
Let's just choose up sides. Let's arbitrarily choose up sides. You be on team Akeem Blake. I'll be on team Blake Seville. Let's just do that.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right. I'm in.
Again, haven't seen much from Seville post 1980. Was 86?
Yeah. So, okay, I'm willing to ride with Team Blake. You're riding with Seville for these next 5
Mm-hmm.
weeks. What does the winner get? We need
An all
stakes.
expense paid trip to Jamaica paid for by the other person. But if I win, I can't leave my family, so you have to pay for all 5 of us to go to Jamaica. If you win, I just pay for you
Okay.
to go to Jamaica. Deal?
Hold on. No. I will pay
Fair?
for the other 4 members of your family if Seville
Wins gold.
wins Worlds.
All right. In the chat, someone said Seville is mad inconsistent. I don't care. He's my guy. I'm rolling with him. Let's go oblique.
Exactly. That's why I got Akeem Blake.
Gordon's
Akeem
sending
Blake.
me to Jamaica. This is amazing. My
All right.
family's gonna love
We'll see.
this.
We'll see if it happens. We'll see.
Wait, I'm not. Wait, and then if Blake wins, what am I getting you? Taking you out to lunch?
No, you're taking. I'm going. You're taking me to Jamaica.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
Oh
if
man,
either of our guys wins, we send the other person to Jamaica.
someone said
Wins
Seville will
Worlds.
do a 1072 soon. Wait, does he mean 972? I don't know if I like
Reading
my
the
pick
chat.
here anymore. Oh wait, hold. Yes, I should have read the chat before. People are bringing up his high school performances now too. I'm rolling with it. I like it because people try to make this like a U.S. versus Jamaica thing when you and I are just like, oh, we just want to see good track. So let's pick the 2 Jamaican stars. How much older is Seville? Because Blake is only 20.
Bring
How,
up the. They're a year apart.
um,
A year apart.
oh, okay, so pretty fair. This is fair.
Yeah. 20 and 21.
And then if we're at Worlds and Oblique Seville is there, I'm gonna break all of the decorum rules about media not cheering in the mix zone.
That's fair.
Like
And I
it's
will do
gonna
the
be.
same for Akeem Blake.
I have a Jamaica shirt and I'm gonna win it. So it's only if the person wins. We're not betting on Jamaican champ trials. We're just
No,
betting
no,
on
no. No.
gold.
We're betting on world champs. So this is going to be 5 weeks of trash talk of Team Akeem Blake versus Team Oblique Seville. Dude, I'm loving this. I believe Blake's already run sub 10 twice. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm looking good. With my
No,
pick.
dude. No. I like the ceiling here. We got a lot going for us on Team Oblique
You may
Seville.
have a
Team Oblique.
ceiling, but your basement is a dungeon. So
That's okay. We got to win.
You got to be careful.
We're taking big swings out here on Team Seville, Team Oblique.
Okay.
So get in line. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about? We're already 5 minutes over what we're going to say. Oh, what was your most disappointing scratch? Sydney, Knighton, Gabby Thomas. Although I think hers was a little earlier in the week. Who else scratched? I mean, Rye Benjamin scratched pretty early though. I feel like it's
Probably
between
Knighton.
Sydney or Knighton. Yeah,
Knighton.
I know.
Sydney has an excuse. It's like, you've done everything. You're the world record holder. You ran 51 seconds on a side meet. Like, it's okay. And she
Yeah.
wasn't going to run her main event anyway. Knighton, though, it would have been nice to see Knighton versus Lyles. Now seeing that Lyles ran 19.6,
Yeah.
then what would have happened if Knighton was in that race. Does Knighton win it? Does Lyles have to
Yeah.
go even faster? Like, what could have happened? So I guess Knighton is the most disappointing because we haven't seen him since. When's the last time Knighton's run? It's been a while, right?
Um, has he run pre? Has he run since pre?
Okay, he's run pre. That's true. He ran pre, but he hasn't run a.
He didn't
He's
run
only
it.
run one 200 this year,
Yeah,
and it was April. So
he's not going to be over raced. I see. I'll make the argument though on the Sydney side of things. This was a good chance for us to see her in like a serious ish 400, an open four, when we know she was in super duper shape because it wasn't a rust buster. She just ran 51:61,
yeah,
which by the way, Colt, bring up the results for the women's quarter from this race. If you could, that's women's 400, which was won by Lena Irby. What was the winning time for
it
the
was
women's
slow.
400? 51:38. So I feel pretty good about Sydney winning that because she just ran 51.6 with hurdles in the way. But still, she was in shape.
Yeah,
And it would have been cool to actually just see it, just get a time associated with it. I thought she would for sure go under 51.
I want to say, when talking about scratches, just go back to Knighton. I think there might be a mini, just a tiny bit cause of concern because you look at his season.
No, I'm not.
He's only run 4 100s. Two of them were at the
What are
same
we
meet, so
concerned
really
about?
3 100s. None of them are really that quick. Obviously, he has the incredible 1949, but that's it. He's had 6 whole months in the year of 2022 to put
Yeah.
together some results, and he only's given us one amazing result in those 6 months. And it's kind of crazy, just a guy with one amazing result we're penciling in as the guy. Meanwhile, Noah Lyles runs 19.6 after running a few other events. So it's a
Yeah. I
it's a mini
I'm not
flag,
worried.
mini red flag.
I'm not worried about Knighton. I think he's fine. I think he'll be fine. These 800s, Ajay Wilson ran too flat.
Don't care.
I think the women's 8 is pretty easy to figure out on the like I would be surprised if it's not Mo, Rogers, and Wilson in some order. Like I feel just like
Yeah.
that event has really it looked like it could be a bit confusing. It's really clarified. And on the men's
Yeah.
side, Bryce Hoppel, well timed kick in the 800, but does not break 145, 145.07. Lopez looked like he was going to have it there. Hoppel outkicked the kicker in that one. And then shout out Eric Sawinski, who's just doing his thing as a rabbit, making some money, hops in this thing, runs. They mentioned he was going to rabbit like a B section later. He gets third, runs 145, beats two guys who made the team last year for the U.S. in Murphy and Jewett. Now, Jewett went for it, though. Jewett did the thing that you've wanted somebody to do pretty
Yeah.
much every major 800, which is just go for it. But it didn't work, and he got sixth.
I will say this. This was a very classic Clayton Murphy type race. Murphy's really good at having these weird, disappointing results. And
Mm-hmm.
then a week later, or 2 weeks later, in this case, probably 2 weeks, you go on and have an incredible result. I remember Clayton Murphy before the Olympic trials did not look like a 143 runner at
Mm-hmm.
all. And then he
Right.
goes to the Olympic trials, gets through the first 2 rounds, and then boom, 143. And it's like, all right. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Nick Simmons. Nick Simmons was really good at giving us hot and cold races. He'd be
Mm-hmm.
cold at these random like Portland track festivals here or there or whatever, a low level continental tour type race. But then when it came to a US championship or going through rounds at Worlds, he would show up. And I feel like that's what we get
Mm-hmm.
from Clayton. So this like, whoa, what happened to Clayton? I think it's Clayton's like, whatever. No one cares
Yeah.
about your result at this meet. They care about trial. He's even said this publicly on the internet. All that matters is how you perform in the 800-meter final at USA's and at Worlds. So
Mm-hmm.
I still think Clayton Murphy's the favorite, even after watching him get beat. That was my takeaway
For USA's. Yeah.
for USA's. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Hoppel too. I mean, Hoppel's been. I mean, he's had some up and down races, not nearly as wide of a
Yeah.
fluctuation, but This was solid, and if it's going to take 145 low to win, I think he can do that. We still haven't seen Brazier since Doha. All right, we'll leave it there. The email address, flotrackpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to be back Monday morning, which is our normal time, 9 a.m. Central Time. I know we didn't get to everything. We'll try to get to as much as we can tomorrow. We got plenty of stuff to discuss.
Team Blake for the win.
Yeah, let's go oblique. Let's go.
That's
Do
a
they do
bad
that
chant,
chant in
dude.
Jamaica?
That's a bad chant.
No,
Too many
not good.
syllables. He's like, you kind of stuttered on the syllable of oblique. It's not good. You need to come up with something better.
Let me check in. Let me see what people are saying. If anybody has any good other oblique Seville
Send the
stats
email.
here. No, hold on. We got a good one here. Someone said, Usain Bolt went from 10.14 to 9.69 in 5 months. Remember who coached Usain? Now coaches oblique. Yep. Someone asked, which Blake are you referring to, Akeem or Johan? Yeah, you don't get both Blakes. You don't get 2 for 1 here,
Akeem.
Gordon.
Akeem.
You only get Akeem,
the young one.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
If
yeah.
Johan
Akeem.
does the unthinkable, then yeah. All right.
I might just
We'll
be
see you
like,
guys Monday.
technically, he's a Blake. So I might be able
No.
to try to parlay
We're
both
saying,
onto my team.
yeah, and you don't get Jerome Blake from Canada either. You only get the one. All right.
Okay.
FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe. We will see you Monday morning, 9 a.m. Talk to you then. Bye.